In a fancy private music school in China, there is an ongoing rivalry between the students that play classical European music and those that play traditional Chinese music. The classical music team thinks the traditional Chinese music players are tacky. In return, the Chinese band thinks the classical orchestra members are pretentious. Their mutual distaste for each other is so present in everyday student life that the teachers have put up a metal gate at the Chinese music department hall to stop them from mingling with their precious classical kids because the arguments sometimes even cause actual physical fights. The classical music students have the upper hand because the teachers pay more attention to them since they think it's the kind of respectful music that has a real future. Thus the Chinese music band has only 2 members left, Chen Jing, a quirky girl that plays the yangqin, and her best friend Li Yu, a percussionist. To make matters worse, Chen Jing has a crush on Wang Wen, a piano prodigy that plays classical music and doesn't even know who she is. One morning, some classical music players shock everyone by approaching the Chinese music students with an offer. Their band will be playing at an important music hall this week, and Wang Wen needs a page turner. The Chinese music students don't want anything to do with them, but Chen Jing jumps at the opportunity to be closer to her crush and accepts the job. Just because she's helping it doesn't mean she's well accepted though, and on the day of the concert, they make her sit with a violin on the bus because the seat was reserved for the instrument. Being in a music hall is a whole new experience for Chen Jing, and while she watches Wang Wen play with hard eyes, she imagines herself playing in such a fancy place and having Wang Wen watch her in return. After the concert, Chen Jing tells Wang Wen about her own music and confesses that she likes him, but Wang Wen doesn't even recognize the name of her instrument and dismisses her as a waste of time. The next day at school, Chen Jing is so furious that she channels that anger into productivity. To prove Wang Wen wrong, she shall revive the Chinese music band and make it play on a stage. Unfortunately, the school refuses to provide resources for a project that they see as already doomed, so Chen Jing and Li Yu will have to do all the hard work themselves. They start by trying to attract the younger students with flyers and posters, but their flyers are ignored or laughed at, and the posters are scribbled on or covered by the classical music students. Chen Jing is ready to give up when Li Yu comes up with an idea. They could recruit the students from room 502, a group of 4 otaku girls that usually don't interact with anyone outside their dorm. This is how Chen Jing meets Yingzi, a shy girl that won't talk with anyone and only communicates with messages on her phone, Bebe and Tata, a pair of gamers, and Xiao Mai, the group leader who quickly tries to kick Chen Jing out of their dorm. Not ready to give up yet, Chen Jing remembers Li Yu's advice and offers the girls to buy them an anime figurine per week if they accept to join, a deal that immediately gets accepted. During their first official meeting, the group discusses possible names for the bands, but the girls don't like any of Chen Jing's ideas. They propose the name 2.5 Dimension to signify a blend between 2D and 3D worlds since that's how otakus see themselves, and Chen Jing has no choice but to accept the name to make the girls stay. The next step is finding a decent place to practice, but the teachers once again refuse to help. Eventually it's Li Yu who finds the solution. He bribes the security guard to let them have the practice hall after the classical music students are done. They get an hour after 9 p.m. when it's supposed to be closed and teachers won't be around. Later in the evening, they finally have their first practice together after arguing over which song they shall play. To their surprise, the guard comes to spend the last 20 minutes of the hour with them because his deal consisted of being able to sing with the band for a little while. The next day, Chen Jing sees Yingzi being bullied by the classical music students and comes to her defense with Li Yu, making the bullies apologize after threatening with breaking their violin bows. Chen Jing finally understands that bullying is the reason why Yingzi keeps silent, and her help is rewarded by Yingzi telling her there's no need to be paid with figurines anymore. When Xiaomai comes to see what's going on, she accidentally drops a ring in her hurry, and when Li Yu finds it he immediately recognizes it from the hands of a music streamer. It turns out Xiaomai is known online as Lightning Fingers, and her skill with the gucheng has earned her a decent following. The other girls already knew and they even join her on her streams once in a while. Chen Jing and Li Yu want to join her too, but Xiaomai turns Chen Jing down because she's a very casual player unlike her and her friends, who have been studying hard for this, including the history of Chinese music and the old variations of the Chinese language. Li Yu is different from Chen Jing and does have more knowledge on the subject, but Xiaomai turns him down because he isn't cute enough for their anime aesthetic. Determined to have a better connection with the girls, Chen Jing begins reading a lot of manga and hanging up with them in their cutesy dorm. She also begins learning more traditional songs although she isn't very good at singing them. At least their daily practices are fun, and it goes so well that some days later, Xiaomai finally accepts they're a decent band now, so she invites them to play with her at the next anime convention. When the day comes, the band gets to perform after a group of idols. The crowd isn't interested in old Chinese music and they begin to go away, only leaving a small group of Xiaomai's online fans behind. To help, Li Yu decides to take off his jacket and glasses, showing he can be cute too, and it gets the attention of a few girls. Once the band starts playing with delightful skill and enthusiasm, the crowd comes back to show their support, since they actually really like how they sound. After the show, Chen Jing's shocked to be approached by excited teenagers that want to know more about her instrument. The video of their performance is uploaded to Xiaomai's channel and gets thousands of encouraging comments, including from other students that begin to think they're cooler than they look. With her ego rubbed so badly and inspired by all the romance manga she's been reading, Chen Jing decides she must try with Wang Wen again and prepares a full romantic confession. In the evening, she shows up outside the classical music building with a heart made of candles and some flute music played by another Chinese music student. As soon as Wang Wen comes out, Chen Jing confesses her love for him while half the school watches, but Wang Wen turns her down again, insulting her efforts and her music, which makes her cry. This begins another argument among everyone present regarding the different styles of music, so to stop it all, Wang Wen tries to blow out the candles, but instead of water he mistakenly grabs turpentine and starts a fire. Fortunately, Liu acts fast and brings an extinguisher to put the fire out before scolding the heck out of Wang Wen, using his knowledge of music history to comment on the roots of the piano versus Chinese instruments, and pointing out that trying to please foreigners to study abroad will backfire in the future. As Wang Wen leaves in shame, Chen Jing gets inspired by Liu's bravery and comments one day Wang Wen will regret insulting Chinese music. The next day, Chen Jing decides to break up the band after giving everyone their figurines, thinking she has nothing else to fight for now that Wang Wen has rejected her for good. Nobody looks happy about this decision and Chen Jing doesn't understand why. After all, they joined just for the toys, not because they wanted to. The girls are confused since they sincerely love playing their instruments, and Xiaomai calls Chen Jing a traitor when she explains she only plays the yangqin because her mother made her. Seeing as Chen Jing never truly loved what they were doing, the girls leave in tears after handing her the figurines back. A few days later, everyone returns home for the summer vacation. For the otaku girls, this is an incredibly hard time because they're ignored and shamed by their families for their tastes. Liu is stuck in a summer institute because his parents want him to study abroad, and Chen Jing has to deal with her mother Mrs. Chen playing traditional Chinese music all the time, which makes her feel guilty about the whole fiasco with the band. Tired of what feels like lots of pressure, Chen Jing tells her mother that she wants to quit learning yangqin, to which Mrs. Chen responds with a simple okay. This lack of reaction shocks Chen Jing, and when she points out that her dad said her mother always wanted her to learn yangqin, Mrs. Chen laughs. It turns out that's what Chen Jing's father had thought simply because Mrs. Chen asked for Chinese music while she was giving birth, but she doesn't mind if Chen Jing isn't interested. However, she also thinks Chen Jing won't able to quit the instrument even if she tries because the yangqin guided her to this world, so they're destined to be together. Chen Jing spends the rest of the summer thinking about this and reintroducing herself to her instrument. When classes start again, it is announced that the Education Bureau is organizing a youth concert, and the teachers want the classical music students to play. It's also explained that their middle school won't accept any more students starting next year. This angers Xiaomai, who jumps in to defend the Chinese music program and demands to be allowed to apply to play at the youth concert. When the teacher reminds her she needs a band for that, Chen Jing also jumps in and says they have one, getting the support of the other otaku girls and Liu. This enthusiasm inspires other Chinese music students to offer their support as well, yet the teacher still turns them down, explaining the school's reputation can't rely on a ragtag band that hasn't practiced together like the classical music guys did. After the teacher leaves, the classical music students make fun of the Chinese music group for their dumb hope, starting yet another argument. It's Liu that cuts it short with a proposal. They'll go head to head against each other in a music showdown and let their skills decide who is the best. The challenge is accepted by Wang Wen. Sometime later, an official from the Ministry of Education comes to the school for an inspection and he's shocked to see the gate at the Chinese music department. The teachers try to guide him away from that area and into the classical building, but this is the moment the bands choose to come out and play with all their might. Both groups worked hard for this and their performances are amazing, gaining applause from both the official and the teachers that are pretending this is part of the tour. The official is moved by how the students made the East and the West meet in art and points out there's no conflict in music, so he demands the gate be removed. After the tour is done and the ministry official leaves, the teacher scolds both groups for treating the inspection like a playground and sticking to his decision that the classical music students will be the ones playing at the youth concert. However, the Chinese music students approach the classical music students to point out that their showdown ended up in a tie, and they have an idea to solve the issue of the incoming concert. From then on, the now bigger Chinese music band begins practicing as much as possible, although Xiaomai thinks their performance is missing a little something. The guard overhears this and offers the solution. There's a set of Bianshong gathering dust in the school storage since the last band disbanded, and the new band is free to have it. When they're not practicing, the band also starts hanging out together as true friends, prompting Beibei and Tata to realize Liu likes Chen Jing and tease him for it. The day of the concert comes, and the plan is ready to go. The classical music students enter the hall for their performance, but once they're inside, they give all their passes to another student who takes them to the Chinese music band that is waiting outside. This allows them to enter the building without suspicion. And after the classical music band is done performing, Chen Jing's group takes over the stage, feeling confident, thanks to the support offered by Wang Wen. Their little show starts with a few words sung by the guard and soon they begin adding other elements to keep the modern public engaged. Xiao Mai's internet fans bring lights and a hologram. Bebe and Tata add electric guitars, and the whole performance is streamed online so their families and teachers can see it too. Their skills shine on the stage and earn them a standing ovation. Not to mention the parents of the otaku girls are finally proud of them. Later in the evening, Liu takes Chen Jing to the river shore to watch the fireflies she loves so much. He also intends to do a little confession. He makes Chen Jing look at her own pictures on social media, which are full of filters and stickers, before he sends her the pictures he's taken of her to show her he sees the real sweet her that nobody else really sees. Chen Jing quickly understands this is Li Yu's way of saying he likes her, and replies he can take all the pictures he wants in the future. Weeks later, the band is pleased to see the Ministry of Education's official has brought his daughter to join the Chinese music department, and there's a whole new group of first years eager to carry on their country's traditions. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.